Welcome to Walk of Worlds podcast. My name's Rachel, and this is a podcast where we step behind the veil to take a look at some long lost and little known urban legends and spooky stories. Approximately 35 kilometres northwest of Berlin is the Brieselang forest. The small town which is nestled beside the forest is home to around 12,000 people, a population that has grown rapidly since its 1995 population total of 5,000. Like many commuter towns, Brieselang has a mix of beautiful places to visit, with the forest being one of them. The forest has many hiking trails and is popular with dog walkers, but this dense spread of woodland has another reason for people visiting. There's blurred camera footage from a forest. It's night and you can hardly see anything. But suddenly a light can be seen in the distance. It shines red and flickers. Is it a car headlight, a flashlight, or is it a ghost that is up to mischief? Welcome to the tale of the Brieselang light. Nobody can say exactly when these light phenomena began in the forest of Brieselang. The light was already hyped up in the 1990s, recalls author Gunther S. F. Janssen, who lives in Brieselang. He researched the phenomenon for years and ultimately wrote a book about it. In his search for the possible source of mysterious light, Janssen came across the fate of 12-year-old Elizabeth, who was murdered in Brieselang Forest in 1945. Elizabeth lived near Brieselang with her parents shortly before the crime in the summer of 1945. She wanted to show some drunken Soviet soldiers the way through the forest to their accommodation in Brieselang and was brutally raped and then shot in the face. The killers remain unknown to this day. Is this murder the basis for the legend that still surrounds the Brieselang light today? Eyewitnesses report a sometimes green, sometimes white glow, which is sometimes accompanied by voices and noises. Optionally, the light is also described as reddish. The soul of the murdered girl roams restlessly through the woods, some say. Others say it is the glow of her father's flashlight, who is still looking for his little girl. It's all humbug, says Willem Garn, who was the mayor of Brieselang until 2019. The whole thing is just a rumour. There is no verifiable evidence for the murder of the girl, although he has nothing against the fact that such spooky legends entwine around the place. It doesn't hurt anyone, but we're not passionate about it. But one problem is that many people who constantly drive into the forest in the evening. The problem was also an issue in the local town, where there was talk of rampaging young people who threw bottles in the front gardens and urinated on the fences. While the light has been appearing since at least the latter part of the 20th century, there are many theories as to what could be causing the lights. Some people believe that, much like the Brown Mountain lights and the Hoya Bichu forest, that the lights are merely headlights seen on a nearby road. Others believe that, because the forest was once swampland, that the lights are caused by gases trapped beneath the surface of the forest. But strange lights in the depths of our forests have been part of global folklore for centuries, and thanks to technology and social media, we're now able to share those stories so much faster. Robbins Pond Road cuts a lonely line through the Ottawa National Forest. Located just outside of the tiny township of Paulding, the forest is as desolate as you can imagine it to be, the kind of place that was unintentionally created for myths, stories and urban legends. While Route 45 cuts a friendlier and more gentle path through the forest, it is the narrow, winding and often unlit country roads that have most tales to tell. These are the roads that Google doesn't bother mapping. Robbins Pond Road was once part of what is now Route 45. Now little more than a gravel road with the forest creeping across it, the road finally comes to a standstill at a dead end. And it's from here that, for more than half a century, people have come to witness what is known as the Paulding Light. On most nights of the week, a mysterious light can be seen through the trees. Witnesses say that the light grows in size and shape before fading down into the trees. The legend has been spread by word of mouth and later by TV shows about the paranormal, and people have enthusiastically speculated on what it could be ever since it was first seen. The first recorded sighting of the Paulding Light was in 1966, when a group of high school boys reportedly saw it and told the local sheriff. The official legend says that the light comes from the swaying lantern held by the ghost of a railroad brakeman who had died when he was crushed as he tried to stop an oncoming train from hitting rail cars stalled on the tracks. This was logging country more than a century ago, and local residents say there were a number of railroads that ran through the forest and are now buried in the underbush. Some believe it's the light of the train, which itself is now a ghost. Some claim it's the distraught spirit of a grandparent looking for a lost grandchild with a lantern that needs constant relighting, the reason that the light seems to come and go. Others have speculated it's swamp gas or something related to the northern lights, maybe even something extraterrestrial. I've seen it where there's 50 cars there, both sides of the road and all the way back, says Jason Lannett, the 43-year-old owner of the Paulding General Store, which sits at the town's only intersection a few miles north of the viewing area. I get 1 million people that come looking for directions because they're lost. It got so popular that the US Forest Service felt compelled to erect a big sign in the middle of the woods at the end of the road, noting it's the that it's the place to see the famous Polding light. Please do not litter. The sign also politely asks. Robin's Pond Road had become a party spot, and as a teenager, Lana and his friends would grab some beers and hang out with everyone else there, waiting for the light. In a very small, very rural town with few entertainment options, going to see the Polding light was a big social event. And though he's seen it countless times over the years, it still holds a sense of mystery for him. I know from when I've been out there it's weird when you see it, because every night it'll dim and then it'll come, he says. I've seen it where it looks like it's in the ditch right next to your car. I wish I knew what it was. However, in 2010, a group of engineering students reportedly debunked the legend of the Polding light. They brought a spectrograph and a telescope to the dead-end road, sent each other driving down the new highway while blinking their lights in a pre-arranged pattern and recorded the results. Every time the light appeared, one would look through the telescope and showed what sure looked like the headlights of oncoming cars, which could be seen clearly through the lens, sometimes with a distinct outline of the car coming down the road, which is about 8 miles away. The group even shot a video through the telescope so others could see and posted it online. The flickering, they said, was caused when cars went over a hill. They decided that the mystery was solved. Others, however, weren't so sure. Some ridiculed the students' experiment and called it a waste of money. Linda Schultz, owner of a nearby resort, pointed out that the light had existed long before the roads had come to the area and had been documented by Native American history. People want to debunk this mystery and say it's headlights, Linda said. You might be able to see them from a distance, but when the real mystery light shows up, it's a light all of its own. Delamere Forest is around 10 miles east of the historic British town of Chester. The swath of trees on the Ashton Road is home to a lake, holiday homes and various attractions for those who enjoy the outdoor life. In the months before the pandemic, the forest was also becoming a popular filming location, with parts of the BBC's adaptation of War of the Worlds and a Netflix series being shot there. And you can see why. With gently rolling hills, wide trails and tall evergreen trees, the woodland is the perfect day out. In 2019, residents began to see strange lights in the forest. These bright lights were believed to be the work of UFOs over the area. However, once the media caught wind of the supposed sightings, residents were reassured that the lights that they were seeing were in fact those of the numerous film crews passing through the forest. And that, my friends, is just a few of the tales of strange lights that we see in our forests. So take care when you're walking out there, because you never know what you're going to see. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. And if you enjoy your stories, strange and spooky, please feel free to check out our website at www.roswellpublishing.co.uk. And until next time, stay spooky.